The space station floated in the darkness between the stars. Its white metal walls gleamed under the light of distant suns. Inside the main meeting room, tension filled the air like smoke. Ambassador Jake Morrison sat at the large round table, his hands folded in front of him. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt angry and tired. Across from him sat 12 alien representatives. They came from different worlds, but they all wanted the same thing. They wanted humans to surrender. The leader of this group was Chancellor Vextar from the Zorithian Empire. His body looked like living crystal, and when he spoke, colored lights danced inside him. "The human expansion must stop now," Vextar said through his translation machine. His voice sounded cold and final. "Your people will leave all the star systems you claim. You will also let the Galactic Council watch over everything you do. This is not something we will discuss, you must agree." Morrison looked at his helper, Commander Lisa Brooks. She sat beside him, taking notes. When their eyes met, she shook her head slightly. The terms were worse than they had expected. Much worse. If humans agreed to this, they would only be allowed to keep a few star systems. Their space navy would be destroyed. All their colonies would be given up. Millions of humans living on. Other worlds would have to leave their homes. Around the table, the other alien representatives nodded their agreement. The Cathara looked like giant insects with sharp claws and multiple eyes. The Verdani resembled walking trees with leaves instead of hair. The Luxem were beings made of pure energy that glowed like small stars. The Altarians had blue skin and 6 eyes each. Despite being so different, they all agreed on one thing. Humans were a problem that needed to be solved. The Altarian diplomat leaned forward. His 6 eyes blinked one after another like traffic lights. "You have 2 days to accept these terms," he said. "If you refuse, all the fleets of the Council will come to your worlds. We will force you to obey." Morrison knew the numbers. Humans controlled about 200 star systems. The Galactic Council controlled over 50,000. The alien fleets had thousands of warships. Earth's entire navy had maybe 800 ships. The math was simple and terrifying. "Ambassador Morrison," Vexitar said, his crystal body pulsing with different colors. "Surely you understand that fighting us would be stupid. Look at the facts. We are much stronger than you. We have better technology. We have more ships. We have more soldiers. Fighting us would only lead to the death of your entire species." The Cathara representative clicked his claws together, making a sharp sound. "Humans are like children playing with toys," he said in his buzzing voice. "You think you are strong, but you know nothing about real power. Accept our offer. It is generous considering how weak you are." The Verdani delegate rustled her leaves. "We do not wish to harm you," she said in a voice like wind through trees. "But you must learn your place in the galaxy. There is an order to things. Humans are too young and too violent to be trusted with freedom." Morrison listened to each alien speak. He had heard it all before during the 3 months of talks. The aliens thought humans were dangerous because they expanded too fast. They thought humans were violent because they had wars in their history. They thought humans were stupid because their technology was newer than alien technology. But Morrison knew something the aliens did not. He knew that humans had been preparing for this moment for a long time. While the aliens talked down to them and made demands, human scientists had been working day and night. Human engineers had been building new weapons. Human soldiers had been training for war. "You speak of generosity," Morrison said, standing up slowly. His movement made all the aliens tense. "But these terms are not generous. They are the terms you would give to slaves." Vextar's crystal body flashed red. "Be careful with your words, human. We are trying to save your species from destruction. Do not mistake our mercy for weakness." Morrison straightened his jacket and looked each alien in the eye. "I have listened to your demands for 3 months. I have been patient while you insulted my people. I have tried to find a peaceful solution. But what you offer is not peace. It is surrender." The room erupted in angry voices. The Kithara clicked and buzzed. The Verdani rustled like a forest in a storm. The Luxem flickered brighter. The Altarian's eyes blinked rapidly, but Morrison kept talking over the noise. I am withdrawing from these talks, starting right now. Commander Brooks and I are leaving this station. Earth has looked at your terms and found them unacceptable. We will not submit to Council authority. We will not abandon our colonies. We will not disband our military. Consider this humanity's official response. The aliens fell silent. They stared at Morrison like he had gone insane. Chancellor Vextar was the first to speak. This is madness, Morrison. You are dooming your entire species with this foolishness. Do you not understand what you are doing? We are offering you a chance to live. If you refuse, we will destroy you all. Morrison and Brooks walked toward the door that led to their ship. The airlock hissed as it prepared to open. Morrison paused and turned back to face the aliens one last time. Maybe you will destroy us, he said calmly. Maybe we are not strong enough to beat you. But if we are going to die, we are going to die fighting. That is what humans do. We do not bow down to bullies. We do not give up our freedom to save our lives. And we do not abandon our people because someone threatens us. The airlock opened with a loud clang. Morrison and Brooks walked through it, without looking back. Behind them, the aliens sat in shocked silence. They had expected the humans to beg. They had expected them to negotiate. They had expected them to be reasonable. They had not expected defiance. As Morrison's ship pulled away from the space station, he sent a message to Earth. The message was short and simple. Talks have failed. Prepare for war. Back in the meeting room, the aliens finally began to speak again. Some were angry. Some were confused. Some were worried. But Chancellor Vextar was confident. Let them go, he said to the others. Let them prepare for war. When they see our fleets approaching their worlds, they will change their minds. Humans are not stupid. They will surrender when they realize they cannot win. But as Morrison's ship jumped to faster than light speed, heading back toward Earth, the Chancellor could not shake a small feeling of unease. In all his years of diplomacy, he had never seen such calm determination in the face of certain defeat. Perhaps the humans were more dangerous than he had thought. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of her warship, the UES Defiance. Through the large windows, she could see Earth's orbital shipyards working at full speed. Thousands of workers moved like ants across the metal structures. Sparks flew from welding torches. New weapons were being installed on every ship they could find. The recall order had gone out the moment Jake Morrison's ship left the peace talks. Every human vessel in space was coming home. Military ships, cargo haulers, passenger transports, mining vessels, exploration craft. Everything that could fly was heading back to human space. Admiral, incoming call from Admiral Rodriguez at Mars Command, said Communications Officer Dan Parker. Put him through. A hologram appeared in front of Sullivan's chair. Admiral Carlos Rodriguez looked tired but determined. His uniform was wrinkled and his hair was messy. He had been working without sleep for days. Kate, the civilian ship conversion is going better than expected, Rodriguez said. We have turned 300 cargo ships into warships. They are not pretty, but they can fight. Every gun helps at this point, Sullivan nodded. The math was terrible. The Galactic Council had about 10,000 heavy warships. Each one was more advanced than humanity's best ship. Earth could gather maybe 800 real military vessels. They were also converting about 2,000 civilian ships, but these were weak compared to alien warships. What about the special projects? Sullivan asked quietly. Rodriguez's face became serious. Project Prometheus is ready. Dr. Alex Thompson's team finished installing the device. Captain Ben Lewis has volunteered to pilot it. His crew is ready, too. Both officers knew what this meant. Project Prometheus was a suicide mission. The ship would be loaded with an experimental bomb and flown directly into the enemy fleet. The crew would not survive. Across the solar system, similar preparations were happening everywhere. On Luna, General Patricia Hayes was building automated defense platforms. These robot gun turrets would fire at any alien ship that came close. Admiral Rick Stone was hiding stealth ships in the outer parts of the solar system. These invisible vessels would attack from behind when the battle started. Captain Maria Santos commanded the warship UES Relentless. She was reading reports from human scouts who had gone to watch the alien fleets. The news was bad. The Council was gathering the largest military force in galactic history. Their ships stretched across space like a metal cloud. "Ma'am," her tactical officer called. "We are getting final orders from Earth Command." Santos looked at the holographic display. It showed where human ships would be positioned for the battle. The formation looked pathetically small compared to what was coming. But hidden among those positions were surprises the aliens would never expect. For decades, humans had been studying alien technology. When alien ships crashed or were captured, human scientists took them apart piece by piece. They learned how alien shields worked. They figured out alien weapon systems. They discovered weaknesses in alien armor. Most importantly, they had developed ways to fight alien technology. The aliens thought humans were primitive. They believed human weapons were weak and human ships were slow. This was exactly what humans wanted them to think. While the aliens looked down on humanity, human engineers had been creating new weapons specifically designed to kill alien ships. Dr. Thompson worked in a secret laboratory deep underground on Earth. His team had spent years developing something the aliens had never seen before. They called it a quantum entanglement weapon. It could hit targets instantly across vast distances. Alien point defense systems would be useless against it. "Doctor, the weapon systems are installed and ready," said his assistant, Dr. Nancy Bell. "All ships in the fleet can now communicate and target enemies instantly." Thompson smiled grimly. "Good. The aliens think their advanced shields will protect them. They have no idea what is coming." Meanwhile, Captain Lewis prepared for his final mission. The UES Prometheus had been completely rebuilt. Most of the ship was now a single massive bomb made from captured alien antimatter technology. When it exploded, it would release more energy than a small star. "Sir, the crew is ready," reported his first officer, Lieutenant Mike Chang. "Everyone understands this is a one-way trip." Lewis looked at his crew. They were all volunteers. Each one had family living in the colonies that the aliens wanted to destroy. They were willing to die to protect their loved ones. "Remember," Lewis told them, "we only get one shot at this. We have to get close enough to their flagship to make it count. The blast needs to take out as many command ships as possible." The ship's engineer, Chief Petty Officer Amy Foster, checked the bomb one last time. "The antimatter containment is stable," she reported. "We can maintain it for about 6 hours once we start the attack run." Across human space, millions of people were preparing for war. Civilian volunteers were learning to use weapons. Families were moving into underground bunkers on asteroids and moons. Factory workers were building ammunition around the clock. But the most important preparation was happening in secret. The aliens thought they had captured or destroyed all of humanity's advanced technology. They were wrong. Humans had been hiding their best weapons and most advanced ships. The fleet the aliens expected to face was not the real human fleet. Admiral Stone's stealth ships were equipped with experimental electromagnetic pulse weapons. These devices had been built using captured technology from the energy-based Luxem aliens. When activated, they would shut down alien ship systems completely. General Hayes had built thousands of automated weapons platforms throughout the solar system. They were hidden inside asteroids on the far sides of moons and in the debris fields around Jupiter. When alien ships entered the system, they would face attacks from every direction. Most cleverly, those fleeing civilian ships were not really running away. They were remotely controlled drones hiding the real evacuation ships. The actual human population was already safe in hidden bases throughout the outer system. The aliens would be attacking empty ships while real humans prepared to strike back. "All preparations are complete," Sullivan announced to her fleet commanders during a final briefing. "Remember, we only win this if we stick to the plan. The aliens expect us to fight like humans have always fought, direct and straightforward. Instead, we are going to fight like humans have never fought before." Rodriguez nodded from Mars Command. "The civilian conversions are done. Every merchant ship, every transport, every mining vessel is now armed and ready. They may not look like much, but they will surprise the aliens." Stone reported from his hidden position near Neptune. "Stealth ships are in place. EMP weapons are charged and ready. The aliens will never see us coming. Hayes checked in from Luna. Defense platforms are online. We have enough firepower hidden throughout the system to destroy a small fleet. Let them come. As the human fleet took their positions, everyone knew they were preparing for humanity's greatest test. The aliens had thousands of ships and superior technology. But humans had something the aliens did not understand: the willingness to sacrifice everything for freedom. Sullivan looked out at Earth one last time. The blue planet hung in space like a jewel. Billions of people lived down there, trusting their military to protect them. She would not let them down. Signal all ships, she ordered. Prepare for Operation Last Stand. Make every shot count. Make every sacrifice meaningful. Show these aliens what humans are really capable of. The fleet acknowledged her orders. Across the solar system, human warriors prepared for the fight of their lives. High Admiral Zixthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Through the massive viewing screen, he could see the largest military fleet ever assembled in galactic history. 10,000 warships stretched out in perfect formation. The metal hulls gleamed under the light of nearby stars. The High Admiral was an Altarian, with blue skin and 6 eyes that could see in different spectrums of light. He had commanded fleets for over 200 years. Never before had he led such a massive force. The combined might of 12 alien species floated in space before him, ready to crush the human rebellion. "Scan reports from the forward scouts," announced his intelligence officer, Captain Mordahl. "Human resistance in the outer systems is minimal. They appear to be abandoning their colonies without putting up a fight." Zixthul's 6 eyes focused on the tactical display. Green icons showed council ships advancing through human territory. Red icons marked human positions, but these were few and scattered. Most interesting were the blue icons, civilian ships fleeing toward Earth loaded with refugees. "Exactly as we predicted," said Captain Vordahl of the Kithara contingent. His insect-like mandibles clicked with satisfaction. "These humans talked bravely at the peace conference, but they run like frightened animals when faced with real power." Chancellor Vextar observed from the command deck. His crystalline body pulsed with pleased colors. As expected, humanity's reputation for stubbornness was clearly exaggerated. They behave like any rational species when faced with overwhelming force. They choose survival over pride. The alien fleet had been advancing through human space for 3 weeks. System after system fell to council forces without any resistance. Human colonies were abandoned so quickly that the aliens found meals still warm on tables and personal belongings scattered everywhere. It seemed the humans had panicked and fled, in complete disorder. Admiral Kyleth of the Luxem energy beings flickered with concern. His form looked like a small star contained in a humanoid shape. "High Admiral, this retreat seems unusually organized for a species acting in desperation. Perhaps we should be more careful." Zixthul dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. "You worry about nothing, Admiral. Our intelligence clearly shows humanity's inferior numbers and technology. They simply recognize the inevitable and try to save as many lives as possible. It shows they are not completely stupid." The intelligence report supported this view. Human military ships had been spotted, but they retreated immediately when council forces appeared. A few token patrols had been detected at the edges of systems, but they fled as soon as alien scouts approached. The humans were clearly trying to buy time for their evacuation, not preparing for a real fight. "Look at these numbers," said Captain Mordahl, displaying the tactical summary. "The humans have maybe 800 military vessels. We have 10,000. Their technology is decades behind ours. Their ships are smaller and weaker. Even if they chose to fight, the battle would be over in hours." The Verdani representative, Admiral Silara, rustled her leaf hair thoughtfully. "The evacuation appears thorough. Our scouts report thousands of civilian ships fleeing toward their inner systems. They are saving their population at the cost of their territory. It is logical." Zixthul nodded approvingly. "Exactly. The humans may be stubborn, but they are not suicidal. When faced with extinction, they choose to preserve their species rather than die for empty pride." We can respect this decision. As the fleet continued its advance, more evidence of human panic appeared. Abandoned space stations drifted powerless, in orbit around empty planets. Mining facilities had been shut down so quickly that expensive equipment was left behind. Even military bases showed signs of hasty evacuation, with defensive systems offline and weapon platforms unmanned. "The humans are making this almost too easy," commented Captain Vordal. "At this rate we will reach Earth in 2 weeks. Once they see our full fleet assembled in their home system, they will surrender immediately." The Kethera officer pulled up long-range scans of the inner human systems. "Our sensors detect significant ship concentrations around Earth and Mars. It appears they are gathering their remaining forces for a final defensive stand." "How predictable." Zixthul studied the tactical display with satisfaction. Everything was proceeding exactly according to plan. The humans were behaving like textbook examples of a weaker species facing superior force. They had abandoned their outer territories to concentrate their remaining strength around their homeworld. "Signal all fleet commanders," he ordered. "Maintain current advance speed. I want our arrival at Earth to be as dramatic as possible. When the humans see 10,000 warships approaching their planet, any remaining thoughts of resistance will disappear." The massive Council Armada continued its methodical advance through human space. Behind them, they left empty star systems and abandoned colonies. Ahead of them lay Earth and what they expected to be humanity's quick surrender. Admiral Kyleth remained troubled despite the apparent success. "High Admiral, I request permission to conduct more detailed scans of the abandoned systems. Something about this evacuation pattern seems unusual." "Denied," Zixthul replied firmly. "We have more important concerns than investigating empty planets. The humans are fleeing toward their stronghold. We must focus on the final battle, not waste time examining abandoned territory." The Luxem Admiral flickered with frustration but said nothing more. His energy-based senses detected something the others missed: faint power signatures in supposedly empty systems. But without permission to investigate, he could only note the anomalies and hope they were meaningless. Captain Mordal continued his intelligence briefings. "Latest reports indicate the human fleet is positioning itself in a standard defensive formation around Earth. Their ships are arranged in 3 layers: light vessels on the outside, heavy cruisers in the middle, and their largest ships protecting the planet itself." "Amateur," scoffed Captain Vordal. "Any military academy student could predict such an obvious strategy. The humans have no imagination, no creativity in their tactics. They will simply sit there and wait for us to destroy them." Chancellor Vextar pulsed with confident colors. "The Council's strategy is proven and effective. We will approach Earth slowly, allowing the humans to see our overwhelming numbers. We will demand their surrender. When they refuse, and they will refuse at first out of pride, we will demonstrate our power by destroying a few of their outer ships. Then they will surrender." As the fleet approached the edge of the Sol system, long-range sensors provided detailed information about human defensive positions. The readings confirmed everything the Council expected. Humanity's remaining fleet clustered around Earth in a desperate last-stand formation. "Begin final approach to Sol system," Zixthul commanded. "Signal all fleet commanders. We end this charade within the next 2 days. The humans will surrender when they see our full power, and the galaxy will finally have peace." The massive Council Armada accelerated toward Earth, confident in their overwhelming superiority. 10,000 alien warships moved through space like an unstoppable tide. Their commanders spoke of quick victory and human surrender. None of them suspected they were flying directly into the most elaborate military trap in the history of the galaxy. The humans they had dismissed as cowardly and disorganized had spent 3 months preparing for this exact moment. Every abandoned colony, every fleeing ship, every retreating patrol had been part of a deception so complete that the aliens never questioned what they were seeing. The Council fleet advanced toward what they thought would be an easy victory. Instead, they were heading toward the greatest military disaster in their history. Behind them, in the empty systems they had conquered, hidden human weapons platforms powered up silently. Ahead of them, the defensive formation around Earth, began to reveal capabilities the aliens never suspected existed. The trap was set. The prey was approaching. Soon, the hunters would discover they had become the hunted. Sensor specialist Jenny Walsh stared at her screens aboard the UES Defiance. Numbers scrolled past faster than she could read them, but the final count made her stomach drop. Council fleet entering Sol System's outer edge, she reported to Admiral Sullivan. Confirmed count 9,847 hostile vessels. Admiral Sullivan felt her mouth go dry. Even knowing the enemy numbers beforehand could not prepare her for seeing them displayed on the tactical screens. The Council fleet looked like a metal galaxy spreading across space. Ships of every size and shape moved in perfect formation, their weapons powered and shields raised. "Admiral," Captain Ben Lewis called from the bridge of the UES Prometheus. His voice came through the communication system clearly, but Sullivan could hear the tension underneath. "We are in position and standing by for final orders." Sullivan closed her eyes for a moment. Lewis and his volunteer crew were about to fly their ship, loaded with an experimental antimatter bomb, directly at the enemy flagship. It would buy the human fleet a few precious minutes at most. The cost would be the lives of everyone aboard the Prometheus. "All ships, begin Operation Lazarus," Sullivan ordered. Across the Sol system, humanity's hidden preparations activated at the same time. What the Council had seen as panicked evacuation had actually been the largest military deception in galactic history. Those abandoned colonies were not empty. They were filled with automated weapons platforms powered by fusion reactors. The BRE. Fleeing merchant ships were not carrying refugees. They were remotely controlled decoys while the real human population hid in underground bunkers across dozens of moons and asteroids. Most importantly, those 3 months of peace talks had not been wasted. Earth's brightest scientists had reverse-engineered captured Council technology and developed countermeasures the arrogant aliens never expected. The first surprise came when Captain Maria Santos led a squadron of human destroyers in what looked like a desperate frontal assault. The Council's defensive screens had been designed to stop energy weapons like lasers and plasma beams. They proved completely useless against humanity's kinetic weapons, simple railguns firing chunks of tungsten, metal at incredible speeds. Impossible! High Admiral Zixthal screamed from his flagship as 3 Altarian cruisers simply disintegrated under the human attack. Pieces of alien ships scattered through space like metallic snow. "Their weapons are primitive. How are they getting through our shields?" The answer was simple but deadly. Human engineers had studied captured alien shield technology for decades. They discovered that the energy barriers could not stop solid objects moving fast enough. While the aliens had focused on improving their energy weapons, humans had perfected the art of throwing rocks really, really hard. The second surprise followed immediately. Admiral Rick Stone's stealth ships, hidden throughout the outer system for weeks, activated electromagnetic pulse weapons based on captured Luxem technology. Council ships, which depended on energy-based systems for everything, began going dead in space as their power grids overloaded and failed. "Warning! Warning!" alien captains shouted across multiple communication channels. "Our systems are failing. Power levels dropping to 0. We cannot maintain shields or weapons." Hundreds of Council ships drifted helplessly as their crews struggled to restart dead computers and failed life support systems. The invisible EMP weapons continued firing, targeting the largest alien vessels first. But the greatest shock came when the fleeing human merchant vessels suddenly turned around and opened fire with weapons that should not have existed. Dr. Alex Thompson's research teams had successfully weaponized quantum entanglement, creating communication and targeting systems that worked instantly across any distance. Traditional space combat involved predicting where enemy ships would be when weapons reached them. Ships could dodge by changing direction, while projectiles were in flight. But quantum weapons hit their targets at the exact moment they were fired. Council point defense networks designed to shoot down incoming missiles were completely useless. "Sir," a Kithara tactical officer chittered frantically to his captain, "we are detecting massive energy buildups throughout the system. The humans have somehow turned their entire solar system into a weapon." This was true. Every asteroid, moon, and space station in the Sol system had been secretly equipped with hidden weapons. What looked like normal mining equipment was actually disguised railgun batteries. Communication satellites were revealed to be missile launchers. Even the orbital garbage dumps contained automated attack drones. Captain Lewis's voice crackled across all radio frequencies as the Prometheus began its final attack run. The ship accelerated toward the Council flagship, its antimatter bomb primed for detonation. This is for every human colony you threatened to destroy. This is for every family you tried to break apart. See you in hell, you alien bastards. The Council's point defense systems opened fire on the approaching human ship. Laser beams and plasma bolts lit up space around the Prometheus. But Lewis had expected this. His ship had been covered in reflective armor designed to deflect energy weapons. The alien fire scattered harmlessly off the hull. Zixthul realized what was happening. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. Do not let it reach us. But it was too late. The Prometheus slammed into the Eternal Dominion at maximum speed. For a split second, nothing happened. Then the antimatter bomb detonated. The explosion vaporized both ships instantly. The blast wave spread outward at the speed of light, destroying everything within 1,000 kilometers. 7 more Council ships vanished in the nuclear fire. The shockwave damaged dozens of others, sending them tumbling out of formation. Across the battlefield, human ships pressed their advantage. The quantum targeting systems allowed perfect coordination between vessels spread across the entire solar system. When a human captain identified a target, every ship in the fleet could instantly share that information and coordinate their attack. Admiral Sullivan watched from the Defiance as alien ships died by the hundreds. All vessels execute. Attack Pattern 7. Focus fire on their command ships, take out their ability to coordinate. The human fleet, revealed to be much larger than the aliens had estimated, emerged from hiding places throughout the system. Ships rose from behind moons, accelerated out of asteroid fields, and decloaked near planets. The aliens found themselves surrounded and outnumbered in what they had thought was their moment of greatest strength. Chancellor Vextar, aboard a damaged Zorithian cruiser, watched his crystalline body flicker with panic colors. How is this possible? Our intelligence said they had 800 ships. There are thousands of them. The answer was another human deception. The aliens had counted human military vessels, but they had not counted the converted civilian ships. Thousands of cargo haulers, passenger transports, and mining vessels had been secretly equipped with weapons and armor. They looked like civilian ships until they opened fire. Captain Vordal of the Kithara tried to rally his forces. All ships, regroup, form defensive positions, we still outnumber them. But the Council fleet was in complete chaos. Ships collided with each other as they tried to avoid human weapons. Commanders could not communicate with their vessels because the EMP attacks had damaged their communication systems. Worse, they were discovering that human weapons were specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in alien technology. The tungsten railgun projectiles punched through alien armor like paper. The EMP weapons shut down alien computers and life support. The quantum targeting systems made it impossible for alien ships to dodge human attacks. Decades of studying captured alien technology had paid off in the most deadly way possible. Admiral Stone's voice came through the communication system. Admiral Sullivan, this is Stone. My stealth ships have successfully disabled over 600 enemy vessels. Their main fleet is in complete disarray. Recommend we press the attack while they cannot respond effectively. Sullivan smiled grimly. Acknowledged, Admiral Stone. All ships continue the assault. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten human freedom. The battle that the Council had expected to win in hours was turning into their greatest defeat in centuries. Human ingenuity, preparation, and sheer determination were overwhelming alien superiority in numbers and technology. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. Chancellor Vextar watched in crystalline horror as the Council's mighty fleet fell apart around him. His body, normally a brilliant blue-white, had turned dark purple with shock and fear. In less than 6 hours, humanity had destroyed or disabled nearly 4,000 ships, almost half the Council's total military power. The remaining vessels, scattered and demoralized, were retreating in complete disorder. How? he whispered to his aide, a young Zorithian whose crystal form flickered with confusion. How did we miscalculate so completely? Our intelligence was perfect. Our technology was superior. Our numbers were overwhelming. What went wrong? The answer was becoming clear as reports flooded in from across human space. Every system the Council thought they had conquered was erupting in coordinated attacks. Hidden human bases, automated weapons platforms, and civilian volunteers armed with improvised weapons were systematically destroying Council occupation forces. On the bridge of his damaged cruiser, High Admiral Zixthol tried to maintain some semblance of command authority. 3 of his 6 eyes had been injured when his flagship exploded, and his blue skin was marked with burns. The once mighty Eternal Dominion was nothing but glowing debris floating in space. Status report, he demanded of his surviving officers. Captain Mordal, his intelligence officer, looked up from a damaged computer terminal. His voice shook as he read the numbers. Sir, we have lost 3,147 ships destroyed and another 1,203 ships disabled. Total. Effective fleet strength is down to less than 5,000 vessels. Many of our remaining ships have damaged weapons or life support systems. The numbers were devastating, but they did not tell the full story. The Council fleet was not just reduced in size, it was completely demoralized. Alien crews who had never experienced defeat were now fleeing in panic. Ships designed to conquer the galaxy were running away from human fighters. Admiral Sullivan's voice echoed across all communication frequencies. Her tone was calm and professional, which made her words even more terrifying to alien ears. Council Fleet, this is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the United Earth Space Navy. You are ordered to withdraw immediately from all human systems. Any vessel that remains in our space after 1 hour will be considered hostile and destroyed. Zixthol found his voice, though it cracked with desperation. Admiral Sullivan, surely we can negotiate. There has been enough bloodshed. We can discuss new terms for peace. Negative, Sullivan's reply cut through his plea like a knife. You had 3 months to negotiate in good faith. Instead, you chose ultimatums and threats. This is humanity's counteroffer. Complete withdrawal from all human territory, reparations for damaged colonies, and formal recognition of human sovereignty. You have 30 minutes to respond. In the emergency command meeting aboard the Council's surviving flagship, panic filled the air like poison gas. The Kythera representative clicked his mandibles nervously while his compound eyes darted around the room. The Verdani delegates' leaves had turned brown with stress, and several had fallen to the floor. Admiral Kileth of the Luxem flickered weakly as his energy form struggled to maintain coherence. We could regroup, suggested Captain Vordal weakly, his insectoid voice lacking its usual arrogance. Call for reinforcements from the core worlds. Gather our reserve fleets. Surely we can mount another attack. Vextar's crystalline form pulsed, with bitter realization. With what ships? We have lost nearly half our total fleet capacity in a single battle, and now we know that humanity has been deliberately hiding their true military capabilities. How many more surprises do they have waiting for us? This was the terrifying truth that every council member was beginning to understand. For decades, they had dismissed humans as primitive upstarts with inferior technology. They had based their invasion plans on incomplete intelligence and arrogant assumptions. The humans had allowed them to believe these lies while secretly preparing for this exact scenario. The tactical display showed the remaining human fleet forming up for another assault. The numbers were shocking. Instead of the 800 ships the Council had expected, humans had fielded over 3,000 vessels. More critically, long-range sensors were detecting additional human ships emerging from hidden bases throughout their territory. Look at these readings, Admiral Kyleth said, his energy form flickering with disbelief. Their fleet is actually larger now than when the battle started. They have been hiding ships throughout this entire system. We never had accurate intelligence about their true military strength. Captain Mordal was analyzing the tactical data from the battle. What he found made his blood run cold. Sir, these human weapons are not primitive at all. Their kinetic projectiles are moving at nearly 10% the speed of light. Their electromagnetic pulse devices are based on our own Luxem technology but improved beyond our current capabilities. Their targeting systems appear to use quantum entanglement for instantaneous coordination. The implications hit everyone at once. Humanity had not just studied captured alien technology, they had improved it. While the Council had grown comfortable with their technological superiority, humans had been innovating and advancing at incredible speed. They played us for fools, Vextar said, his voice heavy with shame. Every piece of intelligence we gathered was carefully controlled. Every display of human military capability was designed to make us underestimate them. They wanted us to attack with overwhelming force so they could demonstrate their true power. The communication officer interrupted with an urgent message. Sir, Admiral Sullivan is requesting our response to her terms. She says we have 15 minutes remaining. Around the table, the surviving council leaders looked at each other with defeat in their eyes. Some had served for centuries and commanded fleets across a dozen galaxies. None had ever experienced such a complete reversal of fortune. What choice do we have? Asked the Verdani delegate, her leaf hair rustling with despair. We cannot continue this fight. Our ships are damaged, our crews are demoralized, and we have no idea what other weapons the humans are hiding. If we refuse their terms, they might destroy what remains of our fleet. Zixthul tried one last desperate argument. We represent 50,000 star systems. Surely the humans will not risk making enemies of the entire galaxy over this conflict. Admiral, Kylith's energy form brightened slightly as he accessed long-range communications. Sir, I am receiving reports from our occupied systems throughout human space. Our garrison forces are under attack everywhere. The humans had hidden weapons and personnel on every world we thought we had conquered. Our occupation forces are being systematically destroyed. The final piece of the human strategy became clear. The evacuation the Council had witnessed was not a panicked retreat. It was a tactical withdrawal that left behind a network of hidden resistance forces. While the main alien fleet attacked Earth, human guerrilla fighters were liberating their colonies from within. Sir, the communications officer said urgently, Admiral Sullivan is demanding an immediate response. She says our time is up. Vextar looked around at the shattered remnants of what had been the galaxy's most powerful military force. Pride warred with pragmatism, but survival won out. The Council could not afford to lose what ships they had left. Open a channel to Admiral Sullivan, he said, his voice carrying the weight of absolute defeat. The human admiral's face appeared on the main screen. Her expression was calm but determined. Behind her, Vextar could see the bridge of a human warship that looked far more advanced than Council intelligence had suggested. Chancellor Vextar, Sullivan said formally, I am waiting for your response to our terms. Vextar's crystal body pulsed through several colors as he struggled with the words. Finally, he spoke the most difficult sentence of his long diplomatic career. The Galactic Council accepts your terms, Admiral Sullivan. We will withdraw from all human systems immediately and pay reparations for any damage caused during this conflict. Acknowledged, Sullivan replied. You have 72 hours to remove all Council forces from human territory. Any ship that remains after that deadline will be destroyed without warning. This conversation is ended. The screen went dark, leaving the Council leaders in stunned silence. As the alien fleet began its humiliating withdrawal from human space, one fact became crystal clear to every Council member. Humanity had just rewritten the balance of power in the galaxy. The species they had dismissed as primitive upstarts had not only survived the Council's ultimatum, they had turned it into the greatest military disaster in galactic history. From his command chair aboard the Defiance, Admiral Sullivan watched the alien ship's retreat and allowed herself a small smile. Ambassador Jake Morrison had been right when he walked out of those peace talks. Sometimes you had to be willing to fight for your freedom, no matter how bad the odds looked. Except this time, humanity had not just fought back, they had won completely. 6 months later, Ambassador Morrison returned to New Geneva Station, this time representing an independent human government that commanded respect throughout the galaxy. The peace talks that followed established humanity as a major galactic power, with the Council grudgingly acknowledging Earth's right to expand and defend itself. The lesson was clear to every species in the galaxy. Never underestimate